The headquarters came in with a mandate saying, look, you guys are doing a great job with harassing and ambushing these guys, but we need a left hook. We need something that lets them know that this is not not only them, but the world, to know that this isn't just a ragtag bunch of peasants uprising kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that's when I came up with a plan for blowing up Puerto Cabezas. The plan to do the damage to Puerto Cabezas wasn't my idea. How we did it was. So the headquarters came in and said, look, we got to come up with something that is going to really knock them on their ass. Something that's going to get their attention, that they're going to go, oh, this is for real. The world to focus on this, not just the Sandinistas. So I had met some mosquito divers. When I was there, I was in military uniform. I was there as a Honduran major. And I had my scuba badge on my hat. And one of the mosquitoes came up and said, are you a diver? I go, yeah, I'm a military diver. He says, I'm a diver. I said, oh yeah? What do you do? He says, I'm a lobster diver. So he introduced me to 6 or 8 of his guys that were now Contras that had been lobster divers. So I came up with the ideas, is I can militarily train these guys, and we go in there and blow Puerto Cabezas pier up. And we did. Very successfully.
So what was the purpose of this pier in Puerto Cabezas?
Well, Puerto Cabezas was the belly button for all Soviet aid coming through Cuba.
Okay.
It's on the side of the Gulf,
the Caribbean
of the
side.
Caribbean side. So it was the main port. There was another one, Bluefields, but that was a lot further south. So Puerto Cabezas was the number one belly button for them to receive the military supplies and fuels and stuff coming in there. So negating them that and making them vulnerable, it was very impactful. It was very politically impactful.
What were the supplies they were receiving? Like, was it
everything from ammunition, weapons, fuel, food when needed, whatever they needed to provide to keep the regime money. And a lot of weapons, because again, they were infiltrating them further into Honduras and into El Salvador.
What sort of numbers are you talking when we're talking about all of the Contras together, all of the 3 camps of the Contras and all the Sandinistas?
Well, I can't tell you about the Sandinistas because obviously that's the standing army. So whatever 100,000, I don't know.
Roughly, would you say?
I have no. I don't remember what
Okay.
would be. I can do that justice. But the Contras were in the thousands. In the thousands, not necessarily tens of thousands, but it were in the thousands. I know we had at one time we put in 3,000 men and women across the border at one time. Started just moving in. It was one of the big offenses that we made from the north. So there were several thousand between the Mosquito, the Spaniards as they call them, and then the former Sandinista, which were, again, they definitely contributed to the fight.
So when you went to go blow up the pier at Puerto Cabeza, can you walk me through what that was like? Did you guys go in the middle of the night with scuba gear and just strap C4 to pilings?
Yeah, close enough. Yeah, I spent 3 weeks on a deserted island in the middle of outside of Puerto Lempiria, called the Viborillo Keys, and I started training these guys: compass swims, how to do buddy breathing, all this. I mean, they knew how to put out a set of tanks and go grab lobster. There's a big difference.
Were they mainly free divers?
No, they actually used the scuba tanks.
Okay.
They would have bags, and they would go down with scuba tanks, and because a lot more efficient, and they have real rough gear, but nonetheless, so they were divers. They were legitimately divers, but they were not military divers.
They were not Manny Puig.
Exactly. No, far from it. Not from our mutual friend Manny Puig. But things like compass swims. You can't just swim on the surface to an area, so be able to get a reading and keep it and get to your point, counting the distance and all the logistics, and then what we tasked. Our headquarters has a component called OTS, Office of Technical Services. They're the guys that blow up everything, bug everything. They're ops officers, mostly from the special military community, but who are very technical and scientific and bomb experts and all this kind of stuff.
Okay.
So they came up with a bomb that was 80 pounds of C4 in a tubular-shaped device that I swam back and forth for 2 days, getting the buoyancy on the right. The techs were there. Well, we got to float this because you have to be able to drag it behind you without it impeding your accuracy of getting into the target. So The way that this works is we went into we left Honduras with in a Honduran PT boat, and we had put the native boat on top of the PT boat, and I had my 4 divers, my boat captain and my 3 divers, and we had their weapons and the explosives. The bomb was there and everything else. We left and got into Nicaraguan waters at night. So we were in probably 10 o'clock at night or so. We could see Puerto Cabezas. Mm-hmm. So we timed it so we would be there under darkness. Then we put the panga on the water. The panga was the native boat with the guys in it, and now we took them a little further in until they were a couple of miles from the target, and that's when they deployed. And what we had to do here is, you have the 2 pylons on the one side that we were going to attack, and you tie this device from one end to the other, and you put it 2/3 of the distance of the depth. So okay. Yeah, 2/3 from the bottom of the actual depth. And what it does, it lifts the wall. Water is not compressible. So when the explosion happens, it's like a tsunami going this way, and that's what tore up all the pipes and everything else in the pier.
So the water is like shrapnel.
Exactly. It's just like a solid mass being exploded. It becomes shrapnel. That's a very good way of putting it. And I will tell you, I had never seen satellite overviews until I got back from the mission, and Colonel Ray says, "Check out your work." And seeing that pier with a big ass hole in the middle, that was cool shit.
Holy cow. I can't fucking... And in the pitch darkness, you guys are down there doing this.
The guys were... what we gave them was they had some IR lights.
Okay.
And we, at the boat, we had night vision, very rudimentary, but we could pick up IR, so we could... All it was a red blob that to the naked eye you could never see it, but with these special glasses you could see the fact that they were there. So that's when the boat picked them up, and we came back into Nicaragua. So into Honduras.
Wow, man, those kinds of missions that's like a movie right there. Like listening to that part of your book, I felt like I was watching a Tom Clancy movie. Like, it was insane. Underwater divers in the middle of the night strapping C4 to the bottom of a pier. Yeah. And so you guys, that was you guys got back unscathed. No one even saw you guys. No one even...
No, we lost the boat captain in a future mission. He boat capsized and he drowned. But that mission overall was 100% successful.